WRAL.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We're live in Wayne County, where a fire at a recycling plant has been burning for over 48 hours. Why the game plan is to let it burn itself out.
Also, NC State University grapples to deal with yet another death by suicide on campus. The steps the campus is taking to prevent any more.
And the Kansas City Chiefs take home the Lombardi Trophy for the second time in 4 seasons. The celebration, the heartache, and the halftime show everyone is talking about. First, breaking news. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, is finally publicly confirming that they are opening an office in Durham.
We first reported this news in June. Well, now the company is making it official. And WRAL Durham reporter Sarah Kruger is live at American Tobacco campus, where that office will be. Sarah.
Jeff, we broke this news over the summer based on information from multiple sources. Now today is the first time the company is publicly confirming it as well. And also new today, we are learning exactly where this campus will be, and that is here downtown at the American Tobacco campus. In a statement, Meta tells us the campus will eventually be home to about 100 enterprise engineers. As far as a timeline, that is still a question we are seeking to answer. Meta and a number of other tech companies, as we've been recently reporting, have had a lot of layoffs recently, so clearly that is not interfering with the company's plans to come here to the Bull City. Now, I am reaching out to a number of leaders here in Durham to get their reaction to this major announcement. You can look for that in our news this afternoon. Jeff and Renee.
It's great to hear. The hub of activity right there. Sarah Kruger, live in Durham. Thank you. A fire at a railroad tie recycling plant in Wayne County is still burning now more than 48 hours after flames were first reported. Sky 5 flew over the National Salvage Service Corporation facility. It's in Dudley. It did that this morning, and you can see pockets of flames with smoke billowing into the air.
WRAL's Matt Tallhelm is live on the ground there with the latest on the effort to contain those flames. Matt.
Yeah, Jeff and Renee, you can see the smoke still behind me here, and you can definitely smell it out here. It even makes your eyes kind of water because of what is in this material. But I want to show you what happened here in just the last few minutes. The investigation team just pulled up here from both the county, the state. We've also seen ATF out here. They're focusing in on this area of this field. Now, you can see how much smoke is just billowing from these piles of ashes here. The county fire marshal just talked to me a few minutes ago and says this is the area where they believe this fire started. So we're in a corner of this property, about a 108-acre property here, right off of the highway here. And you can see that these investigators are really focusing in on this area. They're walking through there and looking at what may have caused this. At this point, we don't know what could have caused it. That's still part of the ongoing investigation out here. But take a look at those flames that we've been showing you since the weekend. That fire has been burning here at the National Salvage and Service Corporation right off Old Mount Olive Highway here in Dudley since early Saturday morning. One person told 911 dispatchers the flames were shooting 3 stories high at one point. More than 20 fire crews from all around the region responded here, and they helped and were able to contain this fire just to this property here. Right now, they're just letting it burn itself out. We've only seen one fire truck back out here live as we take a look at this smoke still burning. You can see some of the flames in the piles there as these investigators go through all of this. They tell us that at this point they're just going to let it keep burning. It'll burn for several more days is what they're expecting. They say that there's no danger to that fire spreading any further beyond this property here, but what they are concerned about is that smoke in the air. There's a material that's on these these ties for the rail ties that burns and can create a really burning sensation in your throat and your nose as you smell it out here. So they're telling anybody that lives in this general area, you should try to limit your time out here breathing all of this in at this point. But this is going to burn for a couple more days like this, and they are expecting to stay out here. They're going to keep making sure that the fire does not spread anymore. But at this point, they're trying to have a game plan for that as the investigation continues out here. Renee?
Good to hear that it's contained, but it is putting off a whole lot of smoke there. Matt Tallhelm live in Dudley. Matt, thank you.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, some shocking new video just into the newsroom of that deadly earthquake in Turkey and Syria that hit last week. You can see in this video, the camera starts to shake. Everything on the ground starts to shake. Buildings coming down. People just fleeing into the streets as buildings are coming down. Right now, more than 36,000 people are dead as a result of this earthquake. And today, Turkish authorities have started to carry out a wave of arrests of property developers that are now being accused of negligence over these building collapses.
NC State is offering help to students today after another apparent suicide on campus. This is now the 8th death on campus since the start of the school year. WRAL's Laura Levine tells us about the resources the university is offering its students this week.
The 8th student death here at NC State within just one school year, as you can imagine, can be a lot to process for students, faculty, and staff. That's exactly why the university will be having drop-in counseling services today and tomorrow to provide that additional support. Now, university officials say the engineering student's death was an apparent suicide over the weekend. University police say authorities found a female undergraduate student dead Saturday inside Sullivan Hall. This comes just a few days after a graduate student died from what police believe were natural causes. The school is planning a health wellness day on Thursday, which means classes are canceled. In a message sent to students, Chancellor Randy Woodson said, "Whatever you're going through, we know we can get through this together. We are a pack, and our pack takes care of one another." Additional counseling is available for Sullivan Hall residents as well. You can head over to WRAL.com and find more information about how the university is providing those resources for the campus. Laura Levine, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Also, if you or someone you know is in crisis, dial 988 for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And for a list of crisis counseling and county-by-county resources in North Carolina, you can go to WRAL.com and search Get Help.
Questions remain about a shooting in Wake County that killed one person and sent another to the hospital. Investigators were at a home overnight on Zebulon Road near Jack Jones Road. They were first called out there yesterday afternoon. WRAL was on the scene as investigators looked for evidence. Deputies have not named the person who died or released a motive for the shooting. They say there is no ongoing threat to the community. The man accused of killing a 17-year-old in Halifax County is expected to appear in court today. 27-year-old Marquette Douglas turned himself in last week. Roanoke Rapids police received a tip in reference to a missing person, 17-year-old Quamisha Branch. Investigators later found Branch's body. They say she had been shot in the head. Douglas is charged with murder.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, this is some breaking news happening right now out of Brooklyn, New York. This is live video. You can see a U-Haul truck here. Reports are saying multiple people have been struck and dragged by this U-Haul truck. This all happening 11:30 this morning, so just a half an hour ago. It was not immediately clear where the inciting incident occurred, but police say they chased this driver of this U-Haul truck down a street. It struck multiple people. We are hearing there are multiple injuries, bad injuries. This is all breaking news right now. I'm going to stay on top of this and bring you any of the latest developments that I get here in the Live Center.
All right, thanks, Michelle. New technology is being installed at Duke hospitals this week, and it is designed to keep weapons out of hospitals. New weapon detection systems are going in at each of the health system's 3 hospitals. Officials say this is in response to an increase in violence at healthcare facilities nationwide. The new systems are designed to detect guns, knives, and other weapons.
We believe that it's important for us in the healing environment that we provide for our care team to feel safe.
The machines will allow people to pass through without having to empty their pockets or bags.
Today, Wake County Sheriff Willie Rowe plans to share more details about a program that provides daily check-ins for seniors who live alone. The sheriff is holding a news conference at 2 p.m. to announce the relaunch of the Citizen Well Check program. It will start tomorrow. Anyone 65 and older in Wake County who wants the department to check on them can sign up for a call at 9 a.m. each day. And if a call is unanswered, the sheriff's office will then get in touch with an emergency contact, and if necessary, a deputy will come by to check in.
Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again, second time in 4 years. And fans poured out into the streets last night to share in this moment together. Fireworks were blasting off up into the sky above the city. It all came down to a controversial penalty call on the Eagles' James Bradbury with under 2 minutes left to play. It put the Chiefs in position to win it with this Harrison Butker kick, a game-winning field goal with seconds to play. Gave the Chiefs a 38-35 win. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes was named the game's MVP. He threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The city will have a celebration parade on Wednesday. And it was the tale of two cities following the game. Fans were getting rowdy in Philadelphia. Aerial video from after the game shows that a large crowd filled with smoke in the streets there. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll take a look at WRAL's own Super Bowl ad starring a few of your favorite mascots.
Next at noon, new fallout after a 14-year-old student in New Jersey died by suicide. The resignation rocking the school district and the charges her classmates face.
Also, Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show, the performance and the surprise reveal.
Plus, more mysterious objects shot down over the U.S. this past weekend. New information on this puzzling trend. Elizabeth.
Our weather trend is absolutely beautiful. Take a live look at Zebulon here. Of course, that's their beautiful town hall there, and you can see the blue sky up above it. I'll show you how warm it will get this week coming up.
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
We have a live look for you right down Fayetteville Street, downtown Raleigh, as you watch WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. There's new fallout after the death of a New Jersey high school student who took her own life after being bullied. The district superintendent has now resigned, and the classmates involved in her brutal beating are facing criminal charges.
And now more allegations of other acts of violence surfacing at that same school. Emily Ikeda shares reaction from parents.
What do we want? Justice!
It's the source of growing outrage. In a video obtained by NBC4 in New York, a 14-year-old student seen repeatedly beaten by classmates earlier this month. Adriana Cush took her life just days later.
They're absolutely refusing to protect our children.
Her father, livid. The school didn't call an ambulance or file a police report, he says, following the attack.
A 14-year-old girl, my daughter, is literally hit so hard with a 20-ounce water bottle 3 times in the face that she blacks out.
The 4 students involved have been indefinitely suspended and are facing criminal charges. And more fallout this weekend. The district superintendent stepping down, not long after he made comments to the press about the late teen's home life and behavior. A point of concern among school board members, according to WNBC's sources. Before resigning, the superintendent said the school always alerts police and pinned the recent violence in part on the pandemic.
They've seen things at home. There's been, domestic violence. There's been things that they shouldn't have been privy to, but unfortunately with COVID, they were.
Since Adriana died by suicide, more videos surfacing of other bullying at Central Regional High School. Attorney Jonathan Ettman says his client, who is suing the district, transferred to another school after being attacked last year.
I'm horrified that while we are in suit with the school, it's now happened again. And now this young girl, Adriana, has lost her life.
Former longtime teacher Daniel Kaiser says there were days I would break up 3 fights before homeroom.
It seemed to get worse as the years went on. There was constant fights. It was constant turmoil.
The district's website says it is evaluating all current and past allegations of bullying. Writing the Department of Education will conduct an independent assessment of the district's anti-bullying policies, as a shattered community remembers a life lost too soon. Emily Ikeda, NBC News.
The College Board is calling out Florida officials over the state's recent ban of a new high school advanced placement African American Studies course. The board that created the AP course admitted it made mistakes in the rollout of the course, but said the dialogue over the issue has moved from healthy debate to misinformation now. The College Board also said Florida officials should have immediately denounced what they call the Florida Department of Education's slander that the course lacks educational value. New Mexico State University is suspending its men's basketball program for the rest of the season over hazing allegations. The coaching staff has been placed on paid administrative leave as they conduct the Aggies investigation is conducted. Now, a redacted police report states players removed another team member's clothing and engaged in inappropriate physical and sexual touching. The school's chancellor says the school policy strictly prohibits hazing in all forms and will not be tolerated.
The Super Bowl may be one of the biggest nights in sports, but for millions, it was all about Rihanna's electric halftime show. Not only did she slay it, she also gave fans the biggest surprise of the night. NBC's Jacob Soboroff was there for all of it.
It was a halftime performance that shined bright like a diamond, with a surprise guest appearance that caught the entire world off guard. Rihanna taking center stage at the Super Bowl for her first live performance in 7 years.
It has not been as loud in this stadium as it is right now. It's a deeply divided crowd, but I think it is fair to say everybody's on Team Riri.
And while she floated high above the stadium, the pop superstar appeared to reveal a baby bump. Twitter immediately went wild, with everyone wondering if she was or if she wasn't. A short time after the thrilling performance, those pregnancy rumors confirmed by a spokesperson. Rihanna apparently hinting at the shocker in a pregame interview with NFL Plus.
Will there be a surprise?
I'm thinking about bringing someone.
Rihanna gave birth to her first child, a baby boy, just last year with her partner, rapper A$AP Rocky, who was in the crowd cheering her on. She spoke about the power of motherhood in the lead up to the Super Bowl.
When you become a mom, there's something that just happens where you feel like you could take on the world, you can do anything.
She also talked about returning to the stage after such a long time away.
I haven't been on stage in 7 years. There's something exhilarating about the challenge of it all.
And she didn't shrink from that challenge, performing a 13-minute medley of hits that had fans inside the stadium on their feet, including our buddy Craig and his son Dale, who were singing and dancing along. Rihanna took that long break from performing to build a massive beauty and fashion empire. The young star, who's just 34 years old, is worth an estimated $1.7 billion, making her the second wealthiest female entertainer in the world, only behind Oprah. Most of her fortune comes from her Fenty beauty line that promotes inclusivity, and her lingerie company, Savage X Fenty. Both companies named after the Barbados-born star, whose real name is Robin Fenty. The chart-topping musician who has also appeared on the big screen, once again proving there is nothing she cannot do, taking center stage and bringing down the house on sports' biggest night.
Pretty good choreography there, too. Did you catch the WRAL commercial during halftime of the Super Bowl last night? We had a lot of fun shooting that with all the mascots here in our studio. Afterwards, Gerald Owens got to talk with that surprise guest at the end of the ad for an exclusive interview. One thing he discussed with former UNC coach Roy Williams, the classic battles with Coach K over the years. With both men now in retirement, Gerald asked the former Tar Heel coach what the relationship was like off the court. Was there a friendship?
When you say friends, that means somebody you socialize with. And, you know, for 100 years, it seemed like he had his family and he had his team, and that's the way he went. And I had my family and I had my team, and that's the way, you know, we didn't go to dinner. He doesn't play golf. We didn't go on vacations. There's nobody in coaching that I competed with in the ACC, anywhere other than Coach Smith. There's nobody that I respect more than I respect Michael.
Well, tonight at 6, hear Gerald's extended interview with Roy Williams and hear the answer to whether or not he has coached his last game. Michael.
Isn't that great? Coach K, I know. But always that foundation of respect between two legends.
100%. Yeah, there's no question. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look at what is ahead for us weather-wise. Looks good.
It does look good. What a beautiful day we have on tap here. Blue sky is back. We're looking at a dry start to the week. Our southerly wind returns, and that is helping to bump up our temperatures. It feels nice out there right now, especially with all that sunshine. Our next front comes late Thursday into Friday, and we may have a little blip that moves through the area late on Tuesday night and into early Wednesday. So not completely dry, but for the most part, we're going to to keep it dry until we get to Thursday night. Taking a look at downtown Durham, and you can see a little bit of cloud cover. There's just a tiny little disturbance swinging by with a few clouds. That's going to roll through and be in and out of rather quickly. 59 is our temperature. Our dew point is 28. That just means it's very dry out right now. We do climb into the low and mid 60s for highs this afternoon and into the evening. And if you're going to be out and about, say between 5 and 6, it doesn't start to get dark now until closer to 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, still 58, so feeling pretty nice out there. Here's a look at the current situation. The low pressure system that brought us all that rain yesterday is zipping out of here offshore. We have this little band of clouds here that's going to swing on through. We're seeing some of that as you look off to the west. A little bit of rain up into the mountains, but we're not going to see any of that around here. Here's a look at Futurecast. There's that tiny little band of clouds, and you can see it swings through here and really dissipates as it moves into this dry air across our region, but you could see a cloud or two. No precipitation with that for us today. Stepping outside right now, it's 58 in Fayetteville and in Southern Pines, 54 in Roxborough, 57 Rocky Mount, and 58 degrees in Goldsboro. Taking a look at the jet stream pattern, we had a big dip in the jet stream, allowing all that cool air to move in from the north. That's what we saw yesterday. Well, the low moves away from us, and what takes its place is a ridge of high pressure. A ridge of high pressure allows all the warmth from the south to come streaming in, and so that's what's allowing our temperatures to warm on up today and for much of the week. But notice what's back to the west. We have more chilly air that will swing through. We'll feel it on Saturday, and then we begin our temperature rebound again. It is that time of year where we tend to see a roller coaster ride. That time of year when it just feels great to get outside too. 63 today, 65 tomorrow, 72 Wednesday, and 76 on Thursday with daffodils everywhere, especially if you haven't been to see the Dix Park daffodils. They are in full bloom right now, and that is a treat. And it's right by the flower cottage if you needed directions to get there. Speaking of flowers, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. If you're taking your Valentine out to dinner and you're thinking of sitting outside, at 5 o'clock it'll be 61, at 6 o'clock 58, and at 7 o'clock 52. It'll be nice and dry. It's going to be a beautiful evening, but that's a little on the chilly side. But I think if you're sitting by one of those heaters, you're probably fine. It's going to be a nice day for Valentine's Day. The next thing that we're looking at is late Thursday into Friday. We have some rain in the forecast. Friday is Fan Fest for all the Hurricanes fans that are going to see the Stadium Series and anybody who wants to go. That's in downtown Raleigh, so we're going to talk about the timeline for rain. It doesn't look like a washout, but I'll show you when we're expecting that rain coming up.
Yeah, a lot of folks excited about outdoor hockey. Elizabeth, thank you. Pressure is mounting on school systems after a growing number of threats is reported across our area. Tonight at 5:30, a local school system is installing a new weapons detection system that uses AI and radio waves rather than metal detectors.
And it's no surprise that the cost of Valentine's Day gifts is up, but 5 on her side is breaking down which go-to gifts have been hit hardest by inflation and which type of candy is seeing the smallest increase in price. We'll have that story for you today at 4.
0.5.
Come get some free money.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Learn more at WRALFM.com.
An electric vehicle? Hyundai has a program for you. Those are among today's business headlines with Caroline Woods.
Not quite sure an electric vehicle is for you? Well, Hyundai has a new program that lets you try out an EV. It's called Evolve Plus, and you can pick between two of Hyundai's electric vehicles and pay by the month. The cost is either $699 or $899 a month, depending on the model. That includes insurance, maintenance, and 1,000 miles of driving.
WRAL News Plus, everywhere, all day and night, wherever you are.
WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Turning now to growing concern in the skies with the U.S. military shooting down yet another unidentified object Sunday, this time in Michigan. It comes after 2 other objects flying over Canadian American airspace were also taken out over the weekend. NBC's Tom Costello joins us with more on this mysterious trend.
Across America's northern states and extending into Canada, American and Canadian militaries are on high alert this morning after shooting down 3 unidentified flying objects just since Friday, the most recent on Sunday over Lake Huron.
I need some answers, and the American people need answers.
Huron capped a dramatic weekend. U.S. fighter jets targeted and shot down objects over Alaskan waters on Friday, then the Canadian Yukon on Saturday.
They made the decision to shoot down the object that was a threat to civil aviation and a potential threat to Canadians.
It's not clear who might be sending the objects, whether they're designed for intelligence gathering or something else. But the Department of Defense says the latest object flew in proximity to sensitive DoD sites. Aviation authorities worry they could pose a serious risk to commercial aviation, including passenger planes. On Sunday, the FAA temporarily issued airspace restrictions over parts of Lake Michigan to support defense activities.
What's gone on the last, 2 weeks or so, 10 days, has been nothing short of craziness.
The weekend shootdowns come after a fighter jet took out that suspected Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina 9 days ago, after it spent days flying across the U.S. Now the U.S. military is looking at a wider range of radar data as it monitors North American airspace. 2 U.S. defense officials tell NBC News objects that once might have been filtered out are now getting intense scrutiny.
Baby talk isn't just child's play. It could help spot autism years before symptoms begin. A new study has found it could be a key marker to identifying autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, in toddlers. Researchers exposed 650 toddlers with and without autism to 2 one-minute videos featuring a woman using emotional and exaggerated tones or abstract scenes. Their eyes controlled which one played. The study found the toddlers without ASD showed consistently high interest in the baby talk video, while the autistic children focused mostly on the abstract. Scientists say the eye tracking method opens the door for early diagnosis of autism. A new study finds wealthy mothers and their newborns are most likely to survive the year after childbirth, except when the mother and child are black. The study found the richest black mothers and their new babies are twice as likely to die as the richest white mothers and their babies. In the past, studies have repeatedly shown black mothers and their babies have the worst childbirth outcomes in the country. This study shows black families have disproportionately negative outcomes regardless of their socioeconomic status. Last fall, investigative documentary reporter Kristen Severance and WRAL anchor and reporter Julian Grace explored why black mothers and babies are dying at a higher rate compared to white mothers. They also looked for solutions being explored in our area. You can watch our WRAL documentary, Critical Term, Why Are Black Mothers and Babies Dying? And you can find it on WRAL's YouTube channel.
And now to a WRAL exclusive. A leaked document shows that the state Supreme Court is quietly working on some big changes, and critics call it a political power grab by Republicans. Others say it'll make the court more efficient. WRAL state government reporter Will Dorn broke the story. He joins us now. Will, what are these changes?
Well, first off, these are just proposals. And if they do go through, they'll give the state's highest court a lot more power, and that will come at the expense of the appellate court. One of the changes would enable the Supreme Court to decide which cases are going to hold precedent in the future. The other would basically make dissenting opinions less meaningful at the appellate level.
And the timing of all this has led critics to question the court's motives, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now, this started just days after Republicans gained control of the court last month. If you recall, the GOP won big in the November elections, and critics say this is just a move to reverse decisions that the GOP doesn't like. The court hears plenty of political cases, as you know, in addition to everything else. But others say this is less political. They say this would increase efficiency at the court by just speeding up the appeals process.
So many may wonder, is this all a symptom of the courts becoming more political?
Well, a lot of people will tell you that the courts have been political for a while. These voting rights cases were only heard last year because Democrats on the court sped them up to make sure they'd be heard before the election. And, here in North Carolina, a key difference between us and other states is we elect our judges here. Voters have spoken. Republicans have strong majorities on both these courts, and that means they have the power to make these decisions.
State government reporter Will Dorn, thank you so much for your insights there. And to learn more about this, go to the NC Capital section of WRAL.com. Also, check out WRAL's daily download podcast on Tuesdays, where Will goes deeper into the details.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, a driver is dead after crashing into a train, causing a huge derailment. This all happening in Houston, Texas. This collision happened about 7:30 this morning. Officials say at least 12 rail cars derailed, but were not damaged. The driver of that vehicle did die at the scene, and fire officials say hazmat teams are on scene right now working to identify what is inside those rail cars.
Thanks, Michelle. We are heading into the finals competition for America's Got Talent. We'll have a look at some of the acts that earned their ticket to the finale.
Plus, we'll explore a segment of North Carolina's Underground Railroad as part of Black History Month. Now, if you see news happening or you'd like to share a story idea with us, click Report It in the WRAL News app.
AARP.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
2023 to finally tackle your fear of public speaking. But how? Our guest today, Paige Failing, is a former television anchor and third-generation professional development coach. She is here to help us out. Paige, so great to have you on the program. You know, fear of public speaking is the most common phobia, right? Ahead of death, spiders, or heights. So let's talk about this. What do you mean by public speaking? It can be really intimidating and a legit fear.
Well, that's a great question, because I say if you are speaking and you are in public, then you are public speaking, right? Everybody thinks, I don't want to give a TED talk. I'm not going to be one to jump up in front of a whole conference of people and give a speech. But we all want to be prepared, whatever the setting, to be confident in our own skin, to know the words we're going to use, and to be able to say them succinctly and clearly in a way that makes us feel good and a way that makes our audience understand us, whether it is at a conference in front of 1 million people or whether it's just speaking up on a Zoom call or being able to give a toast at a wedding.
Yeah, if you have faces staring back at you, I consider that public speaking. All right, so let's talk about how to choose what you're going to talk about. You got to know your audience, and then how to narrow down the appropriate content, right?
So a couple things to keep in mind here, okay? I'm going to give you 3 things when you are trying to gather all the information and what should I include, right? Whatever the setting is, whatever your goal might be. The first thing would be to think to yourself, if I were to give my audience a 3 to 5 question quiz after my talk, whatever my talk is and however long it is, what are the 3 to 5 things I most want them to remember? So you set those specific objectives, consider what the quiz would be, and be sure you answer those questions for them. Limiting your material is important, because however much you think you want to talk about, cut that down by about 25% and you will end about where you want to. That gives you a little bit of leeway to talk about other things and to leave time for Q&A afterwards. And then tying it in a bow is a wonderful thing to keep in mind. What I mean by this is stand-up comedians, this is what they do in comedy. It's called a callback, right? Where they start a stand-up special and they make one joke and then they talk about all kinds of different things for an entire hour. And by the end, they bring it back to that first thing. If you are able to do that, it instills confidence with your audience, and it just gives you kind of a moment of pizzazz, because they go, oh, how'd she do that?
Well, Paige, we are running out of time, unfortunately, but we want to let people know about how they can read more about your tips and tricks about speaking and other professional development topics for sure.
Oh, I got lots of it all over the place on pagefailing.com. I am just Paige, like Paige in a book, P-A-G-E. Failing is F-E-H-L-I-N-G. The website or on Instagram, I do 3 and 30 tips, 30 seconds for some tips every day that will help you be better at your job and maybe even your whole life.
Paige, thank you for getting us started on rocking that next talk. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, they say diamonds are a woman's best friend, but this Valentine's Day, there is another alternative. And the temperatures are warming up. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how much above normal our temperatures will climb this week.
Everywhere, all day and night, wherever you are.
Season up until now. You can catch up this evening with a finals preview special, which highlights top moments from the season, the judges' reactions, and the 11 acts that made it to the finals. Mark Barger reports on the impact of international acts.
Even though it's called America's Got Talent,
it's the exact same.
The show has always had open borders.
Because that's what people have always accused AGT of. You know what I mean? Why do they keep calling it AGT? They got a band from Japan, they got people from India, they got South Africa. Well, you know what? Now, yeah, it's basically the world's got talent right now.
Especially with AGT All-Stars, which pits past AGT winners and memorable acts against Got Talent champions from around the world.
You don't own me, I kinda do.
Including a young ventriloquist from Romania. who earned a spot in next week's finals.
I just can't believe I'm one of them. It's just amazing to be here. I couldn't be happier.
For hand balancing trio, the Bellows sisters, it's a chance to compete in person. Their AGT finals performance in 2020 was remote from Italy because of COVID.
It was challenging because you don't have the energy of the public, of the audience. You don't get that feeling.
Overall, 6 of next week's 11 finalists are from outside the U.S., including light-balanced kids from Ukraine.
We are here to show it and prove it that we are really strong people. We want to show Ukrainian spirit to win.
A spirit that may be, in fact, universal among the finalists.
And this is their dream come true. This is the moment. This is it.
The title of champion awaits. Mark Barker, NBC News.
AGT All-Stars Finals Preview airs tonight at 8 here on WRAL, and the final performances are on tap next week.
New York's Empire State Building is lit up yellow and gold in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs' victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. During the game, the building was a virtual scoreboard and was split in both Eagles and Chiefs colors. After the Chiefs won, the green and white lights were shut off. And right now, Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We have daylight, we have sunshine out there, and a good week ahead.
Beautiful weather for us. Oh, what a day it was yesterday. Nice to see the sunshine. Goldsboro, Durham, Apex, Chapel Hill, all showing mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. A little bit more cloud cover there in Chapel Hill. And if we could see the sky there in Durham, we would see that too, looking westward. Just a little band of clouds that's going to come zipping through. No rain with that, and no discernible impacts. That view from Chapel Hill is courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. We take a look at our low that brought us all that rain yesterday, zipping right on out of here. But we do have some moisture rotating around the back side of that, and that's produced some cloud cover here in the foothills, and that's swinging in across our area. So briefly, there'll be a few clouds here and there, but again, nothing that's going to produce any rain. High pressure builds in and keeps things nice for us. It's going to shift our wind. It's already doing that out of the south, so we're starting to see our temperatures bump up. We'll be above normal this afternoon, looking at a high of 63, and the high normally would be in the mid to upper 50s. Futurecast showing quiet conditions for us for the next couple of days, but watch what happens Tuesday night. This is 7:30. Notice the cloud cover that begins to swing through along with a sprinkle. It's going to be just isolated. This is going to be close to midnight Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and we'll see a few showers that swing through. That last band that tries to swing through fizzles out, but don't be surprised if very early in the morning on Wednesday you see a shower, or at the very least when you're heading out the door, there could be just a little bit of dampness out on the sidewalks and the streets, especially from the Triangle area northward. It won't really be enough to measure up in the rain gauges, but it'll be just a sprinkle out there. The main event for us later in the week, the best chance of rain all week, will be this front. By Thursday morning, it's approaching the mountains, and by Thursday afternoon and evening, there's 5 o'clock, good solid flow coming out of the south. We'll have a warm front moving through, which bumps us into the 70s for both Wednesday and Thursday. So strong flow out of the south. We start to see the rain overnight on Thursday night into Friday. So Friday morning here at 6 a.m., it looks pretty wet. It's going to be a wet morning commute for us. This is the latest look at the computer model runs. At noon, that rain is beginning to taper off from the Triangle area westward, and by 2 o'clock, we're still seeing some showers.
Your caregiving journey.
Get breaking news first right here on WRAL News.
The company of Facebook is now publicly confirming they're opening an office in Durham. We broke this news over the summer based on what we learned from several sources. Today, though, is the first time the company is willing to confirm it as well. We are also learning the office will be on American Tobacco's campus in downtown Durham.
Right now, crews are monitoring a fire that's been burning for days in Wayne County. On Saturday, a fire broke out at a Wayne County salvage site in Dudley. Authorities say no one was hurt and the fire did not damage any nearby homes or businesses. A spokesman for the town says parts of the fire will continue to burn for the next few days, but it is contained.
Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions once again, second time in 4 seasons. Kansas City took down the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35, an exciting back-and-forth game. You saw it on Fox 50 as the Chiefs came back after being down 10 points at halftime. Harrison Butker kicked a 27-yard field goal with 8 seconds left to win it all.